everyone. Welcome back to the Carnivore edition of Get Real with Tracy. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I've been a little AWOL for the last 3 weeks, not because I haven't been doing my carnivore. I've been working really hard at it. But I don't know about you. Did any of you struggle like I did a little bit? I didn't struggle with the temptation of food because I knew I was having a weak moment. And so I chose to not go to the Thanksgiving social dinner that my friend had invited me to because I knew my friends, I love them, but they would have encouraged me to consider, oh, it's just one day. Go ahead and break the carnivore. Go ahead and have that sweet potato pie and go ahead and have all the different things, the foods, the stuffing that I would be tempted with. So I just really felt like, you know what? This is one Thanksgiving. I owe it to myself to give myself this chance to make it past this holiday season. And if I have a Thanksgiving alone. I have a Thanksgiving alone. And you know what? It was really a good thing. I'm really glad that I did. And as we approach this holiday season, we're going to talk about how do we navigate the carnival lifestyle through all the festive dinners and celebrations that we're all going to be invited to. And so I wanted to give you some encouragement. Now, I have done well to where I haven't blown my carnivore way of eating, and I feel much stronger now in my resolve to stick with it. However, I've also plateaued in my weight loss, and I know that that's because I'm not eating enough. I'm trying to do intermittent fasting, and I've tried to move my eating time closer to sunrise as possible because usually I would eat around 1 o'clock and then eat again around 5 o'clock and then not eat again until the next day. So I've been trying to move that forward to try and eat around 10 o'clock in the morning and then again in mid afternoon around 3 o'clock, and then move forward, not eating again after that. Because I don't know about you, but I'm finding it really hard to eat, to get 4 ounces of meat down. I look at some of you who share these plates that are just full with huge steaks, and then you've got eggs with it, and you might have bacon with it as well. And I'm like, how do you eat all that food? I don't know. I just turned 66. So I just had a birthday day after Thanksgiving, which is another reason I took some time off. But also made it through my birthday without blowing it. I did make myself a keto friendly pumpkin pie because I love pumpkin pie. But you know what? That didn't sit well with me. I learned really quick. The keto recipe I used, they had me use that Swerve brown sugar, and I shouldn't have put the sugar in the first place. I should have just left it out and just done the pumpkin puree with heavy whipping cream and just mixed it like that and put my flavoring in with it, the seasonings and that to make it good. So anyway, I ended up throwing that out because it was like, you know what? This isn't worth it. It's really not worth it. And that's the one thing I'm learning about my body as I've now been carnivore for 6 months now, since June. June 1st is when I started, and I've lost 50 pounds. But I've kind of hit a plateau, and I realized that that's because I'm not eating enough. I need to eat more, and I just don't know how to get myself to be able to do that. Right now, as we speak, I have in my Instapot, I've got some chicken tenders cooking in there with some chicken bone broth, and I put a brick of cream cheese in there. So I'm going to make what's called a cracked chicken dish, and I'll have that for a couple of days. So that's one of the things that I really want to talk to you about too is, how do we overcome all this temptation that's before us? Because the holiday season is synonymous with festive feasts loaded with carbs and sweets. And for those of us that are following the carnivore lifestyle, that can be tricky. But we're going to look at what are some ways that we can tackle the challenges ahead of us and not feel like we're missing out. So, one of the things that you can do, and I will put this up above here, I've created a couple of YouTube playlists. So, I have one that's just carnivore recipes, and there is everything on that playlist. There is Chris Cooking Nashville's carnivore stuffing, carnivore mashed potatoes that you can make. Yes, they're made with eggs, and it's amazing. I've heard that they taste really good. I haven't tried it yet because that's a lot of cooking for just one person for me. If I was doing it for a lot of people, I would maybe consider doing it. There are, different treats and stuff that you can make to where, like the oopsie cake and things like that, to where you have some sweetness, some treats that you can indulge in, and all kinds of great recipes that you can put together. There's even full Thanksgiving Christmas dinners that you could put together that have the recipes on there. So be sure and check that out up above the carnivore recipes playlist. You will see I've also created a keto recipes playlist because I am thinking that once I get all my weight off, and I have another 100 pounds to go, so it's going to be a while, but I wanted to keep some ketovore recipes if I do decide to become a little bit more ketovore. I think one of the things I'm discovering is I have to be really careful what I will eat, because I have, taken a taste of some carbs, and boy, immediately I feel like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like the way it makes me feel. So I don't eat that any longer and stuff. So, but I wanted to create the ketovore playlist as well, or the keto playlist recipes, in case some of you want to look at those. You're free to look at those, but remember, they are keto, they are not carnivore. So I have the carnivore recipe one that you can go to. And I also have the carnivore information from various experts in the carnivore lifestyle, talking of their videos that you can follow and read. And a lot of them do talk about the holidays and how to make it through there. But one of the things that I want to bring up is, how do we make it through? What is the key success for us during the holidays? And the number one thing is planning ahead. Like for me, I had to physically think about, am I in the mindset to deal with being around lots of people who I knew were going to give me lots of opportunities and encouragement to break my diet, my lifestyle. And I just didn't want to be faced with that temptation. I knew that just being faced with having all that food and the wonderful smells and watching everybody else stuff their faces and enjoy it, I'm like, I just don't want to put myself in that situation right now. And so you have to really listen and know where you're at mindset wise, and set yourself up for success. It's one Thanksgiving, one Christmas, big deal. The changes that I'm going to receive, the benefits from getting all this weight off and getting down to a healthier weight, it far outweighs missing this opportunity. You can still be with people and you can still have friends. It just doesn't have to be around food. Or another thing that you can do, well, planning ahead, part of planning ahead is looking at what things you can make. Like there's appetizers, you can make deviled eggs, so you can make those. You can eat all the meats that are served there, depending on how they're cooked. You're gonna probably bloat a little bit on the carb side, because they may have put honey on the ham or done something that has some carbs in it. There's always going to be something that you have to be careful of. So plan ahead and go to the carnivore recipes and come up with some things that you can bring that are safe for you to eat and enjoy, so you're not tempted to break from your lifestyle. Anyway, embrace the variety of meats that are going to be available during the holidays. You have juicy turkey, succulent roasts, perfectly cooked steaks, prime rib. I love it when prime rib is on the menu at Christmas. There's so many options that you can have with the carnivore lifestyle. So don't be afraid to load your plate up with your favorite cuts and do that. Keep away from the sides. And, holiday dinners are always full of those sides, and those are awful tempting, but just really remind yourself of your why. Think of things that you can make to go with a side. Like, for instance, for my Thanksgiving dinner, I got a Just Meats subscription, and in it came a cran apple rosemary chicken. So the chicken was just cooked with rosemary seasoning on it. And then the cran apple sauce was just on the side. So I could just put a little bit on it to give it that cranberry kind of flavor. And plus it was zero carb. So it was okay. I could have had that with carnivore and that. So I made that. And then I made a pumpkin Alfredo with noodles. And the noodles that I used were I took these egg wraps that I got at Trader Joe's that are just like egg wrap crepes, and I rolled it up and I cut them into thin slices and made noodles out of them. And then I made Alfredo sauce, and I put a couple of tablespoons of pumpkin puree. So make sure you get the puree sauce and not pumpkin pie mix, because that has lots of carbs. But the pumpkin puree is purely just pumpkin. And you know what? Just 2 tablespoons of that in with the Alfredo. It was so delicious. So that's what I had for my Thanksgiving turkey dinner, was the cran apple rosemary chicken with a side of pumpkin Alfredo, and it was delicious. So think about all the things that you can do where you can enjoy the company of people and the festivities and that without compromising your health goals. Biggest thing is to plan ahead, prepare ahead, know what you can do, have a plan of action, and then you should be able to make it through this season. It's a tough one for sure because, first it starts with the candy season, then it goes to a feasting season of all kinds of goodies and sweets and treats. And now here we are in the sweets and treats mode of it again for Christmas. I even called a good friend of mine who makes these wonderful cookie trays of all different delectables and that. And I just said, hey, I know, I'm doing this diet and you're really wanting to support me in it. I just wanted to let you know, in case you didn't already make that decision yourself, probably isn't a good time for me to have that kind of stuff around. So I appreciate the thought, but would you give it to someone else this year instead of me? And she was, really good about it. She said, yeah, I had already thought about that and stuff. So just plan ahead, prepare, make your mind up ahead of time, remind yourself of your why, and you'll be okay. And look, I just hope that you can have a great Christmas and celebration this time of year, and give yourself grace. If you do go off a little bit, count your costs. We're adults, we can make choices and stuff, but it will come at a cost, because that pumpkin pie that I made, even though it was keto, oh my goodness, it was not a good thing. It really was not a good thing for me to have. It was too much. And so I need to now for Christmas, I might make a pumpkin dish, or I might make another kind of a little treat, maybe just with whipped cream, like a mousse or something like that. Or I have found making those little keto cakes, except I make it carnivore. I grind up the pork rinds really fine into a fine flour, and I put about a tablespoon and a half to 2 tablespoons of that, an egg in there, and then what's really been good is putting a tablespoon or two of the pumpkin puree into it, and little teeny bit of baking powder, mix it all up really well together, pop it in the microwave for 90 seconds, let it cool, and then put some whipped cream on top. And that's been a really great treat for me. And that's all I need. I love the mug cakes because then I'm not making like a whole pie like I did on the pumpkin pie. So if it doesn't work right for me, I don't have to have a bunch of it left over waiting for me to be tempted to try and eat again. So, anyway, think ahead, plan ahead, and have a blessed and Merry Christmas. And I pray that you'll remember the reason for this season is Jesus and the gift that he gave us of eternal life. And I hope that you and your family have a blessed holiday season, and may the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you. And may he help us to get rid of all this fat and get healthy and whole, because that's important for us. So, anyway, I just want to bless you, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.